once again to Vicious Rats, and of course I'm your host, your YouTube Messiah, and often imitated, never duplicated Superstar 2 Vicious, and gonna go over Raw this week. Was in Nashville, Tennessee, and well, I know what you're thinking. Why the fuck am I wearing this hat? Well, it's that time of year again. I'm the only motherfucker out there that can make a leopard printed Santa hat look sexy as shit, so you know, it's both a blessing and a curse to be able to put the sexy in dyslexia. Yeah. So with that said, let's get on with this week's show. Big news want to go over first. Starrcade was the Sunday prior to this episode of Raw, and well, it was a 1-hour show. A lot of people were saying they were having viewing issues with it, with the network crashing on them. I didn't have that problem myself, but a lot of other people were, and I feel bad for them, you know. They made up for it though. WWE made up for it though by putting the show out there on YouTube while it was going on still for free for everyone to view, so that was good on them. Now with that said, we're going to switch gears, pop into last week before we get into this week with the SmackDown Rewind. Big things to highlight this week to go over from last week's SmackDown. Building up a feud between Roman and Corbin, which, okay, I can work with. They're building up another match between Daniel Bryan and The Fiend at TLC. Not quite sure on how that one's going to go, if it's a TLC match or if it's going to be just a regular one-on-one again. All I can say is, please, for the love of God, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, one of you, please do this for me. Get rid of the red light. Ugh. Just, yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure, no matter what, whether you're an AEW loyalist, a WWE loyalist, or whatever kind of wrestling your preference to, if you see The Fiend wrestling and you're watching, first thing you're going to think is, please, for the love of God, kill the red light. Kill it. Ugh. Yeah. That, and also they gave Lacey Evans 5 minutes to shine, you know, while Bayley and Sasha were trashing the women's SmackDown Survivor Series team. Lacey Evans came out, bam, hit a woman's right. So, giving her a chance to shine, so fingers crossed she gets a chance to have a little bit of a better run than she did on Raw. Now with that said, let's get into this week's Raw. Picks up from last week where Seth pretty much put everyone in their place on Raw, saying, listen, we sucked. The only ones that got a win was the Raiders. Everyone else, we all sucked. There's no other way around it. So, and he was digging into everyone hardcore about it. Now, I would have went over that last week with the Fallout Raw on it, but going over a damn near 4-hour pay-per-view, felt that may have been a little too much to go over. So, I was saving you guys from having to deal with me too much. That said though, big highlights from last week with that was AOP wound up beating the shit out of Kevin Owens, and Seth just kind of sat there and watched. That followed up with this week with Seth coming out, issuing an apology to the Raw locker room for on how he addressed them all last week. And then Kevin Owens came out to him, you know, Seth, we're in Nashville, and there's a particular smell that lingers around with the rodeo and all, and you kind of have that scent coming off of you. It's bullshit, which, Kev, bullshit's not PG, you know, but yeah. Next thing you know, AOP comes out, they issue a challenge. Seth says, hey, I'm good to go. Kev, you? It's like, you want to know if I'm in with teaming with you to get against? I can see on how this is going to go down, and that ends with you three going on me. So, no, I'm not doing this. I'm out. So then Seth says, you know what? Screw this. Walks off. AOP just lets him go past, and then they just kind of back away. Next thing you know, Owens issues an open challenge, wants anyone. Lana comes out. Owen and Lana wind up exchanging words. Owens winds up getting the winner, winds up winning that battle of the promos, which you never want to cross Kevin Owens with a hot mic. Guarantee you'll lose. So we wind up getting Owens versus Lashley. A lot of people were saying, oh, well, where's the storyline? Where's the reasoning? Hey, sometimes you get matches, random matches, that lead to storyline post. That lead to a larger storyline later on, which we'll get into at post-match. Now, they had some nice little back and forth leading into the break. Afterwards, Lashley, he was leading into the match. He was leading. It was what it was. It was a shitty match, you know. And all in all, I'm gonna say right now, and I know everyone, and I know my naysayers out there like to say I toe the company line, I kiss ass, and I'm a WWE fanboy. Whatever the fuck you want to believe. I'm straight up saying it. This week's episode sucked because a majority of the matches were all jobber matches. There were only 2 good matches on the show, and I'll get on to them when it comes to it. Match, it comes to an end when AOP comes out of nowhere. They beat the shit out of Owens, drag him off, and then next thing you know, Rusev comes out of nowhere, beats the shit out of Bobby Lashley. Lana is yelling at her security that she wound up bringing out to protect them. They don't do nothing. Lana and Lashley get in their shit. Next thing you know, Lashley winds up bumping one of them, like, boom. And they're just like, oh, whoa, whoa there, son. You just hit an officer. You're under arrest. Lana goes off, slaps one of them, and then they arrest her too. So, the running joke on Twitter, which you could take or leave, was, you know, I'm not even going to get into that because now that I think about it, no, I'm not looking to have this episode get shut down because someone isn't not appreciative, that somebody is a little sensitive to some jokes that aren't PC. So with that said, let's move into the next match So that's like I said, there was a shitty no-name match for no reason. Owens, Lashley. It ended with AOP beating the shit out of Owens, which leads to their story, and Lashley getting the shit kicked out of him by Rusev, and then Lashley and Lana getting arrested. So there's your story. Sometimes you gotta have nothing. Sometimes you make nothing into something. God forbid that happens. Next matchup we got Drew McIntyre versus Akira Tozawa. This went about as well as you expected. Drew pretty much murdered Tozawa. Like I said, it was a squash. Hit him with the Claymore, 1, 2, 3, that was it. Afterwards, he calls out Randy Orton. Well, before he calls out Randy Orton, he winds up going off on a tangent saying a lot of the guys in the back, the boys in the back, they get mad and they complain about their problems on social media a lot and this, that, and the other, you know, and those guys need to get put on the ass end of an ass kicking. I'm paraphrasing, mind you, but honestly, for the most part, he's right. I deal with shit all the time, whether it's from work, from life, whatever. I don't go and put all my shit out there. That's just on how I was raised. You don't go and you put out all of life's problems out there on Twitter or Facebook, whatever the fuck. You want to go out there and say, hey, say a Hail Mary for me, I'm in the shit right now. You know, by all means, do that. But if you're going to go out there and say, oh, my boss just yelled at me. Oh, I really can't stand this job now. Really? Where I come from, we had that shit slapped out of us if we cried like that over stupid shit. Yeah. But he calls out Randy Orton after that. Next thing you know, Randy comes out. Randy, those chops, you're hearing okay now after those chops last week, which, if you did not see those chops McIntyre threw up Randy last week, go and listen to it, because now here's a what if for you. Walter versus McIntyre. versus Joe versus Matt Riddle. Who throws the hardest and loudest chops? And I'm talking open hand ones, like wham, like that. Who throws the hardest and the loudest? Because, yeah, I'm not quite sure who would win that one. But Randy comes out, winds up getting on Drew like, hey, listen, I got no problem with you. But if you got a problem with me, brother, just stop. And then next thing you know, out comes the club. They wind up getting into Randy saying because of that, because of him running interference last week on Raw, Rey Mysterio's now the U.S. champ instead of Uncle Allen. And then Drew's just like, I could see this is business between you three and Randy, so I'm out. Vita Zen, boys. I'll see y'all later. And then they proceed to do a 3-on-1 beatdown, and then out comes Humberto to go and help out, but he winds up getting rolled on, and then out comes Rey, which then he gets a roll on, which is going to lead to a trios match between Rey Mysterio, Humberto, and then Ricochet, I should say, actually came out to do the saving. And it was Rey, Humberto, and Ricochet that came out to do the saving on Randy against the club, which led to a trios match against them three, against the club. They show backstage with Randy going over to them three, like, I appreciate you guys helping me out there, but next time, don't. I just left it at that, like, damn. You're welcome, asshole. So yeah, now we come to next matchup, Tony Nese versus Aleister Black. This was actually a fairly decent match. I dug it. Obviously, it was an obvious squash, but, you know, Black got the win. He did the Black Mass. Yeah. Big thing that they highlighted on was Buddy Murphy watching in the back. So they're building up between Black and Murphy. Not sure if that I hope that does not climax at TLC. I hope that can get at least stretched out a little into at least until the Royal Rumble, because I think them two could put on a really good showing if it's on the Royal Rumble, which is one of the big four. I just feel like that's a bigger platform for them. Next up, we got Andrade going against Erick Young. Nice to see EY on TV again. One thing though, actually two things. One, really weird seeing EY without a beard. Really weird seeing EY without a beard. Not quite, still do not like seeing him with that. And two, EY, I saw you when you were here in Erie for the GFW show all them years back. Really cool to see you when you had just that sleeve, but my God, that back piece, that back piece just looks ugly to me. I'm sorry. Look, I love tattoos, but that back piece just looks ugly. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion. But yeah, Andrade versus Erick Young. Again, nice to see EY on TV. He pretty much was leading the match. Andrade closed it. You know, he did the hammerlock DDT. And biggest takeaways on that was, one, EY was on TV, and two, Zelina, Vega. Good God. Ooh, that's all I got to say on that. Damn. Next up, we got No Way Jose against Erick Rowan, and Rowan pretty much murdered the conga line because some of them wanted to be idiots and try and look in his box. And yeah, we're not doing phrasing. We're not doing like Archer and doing phrasing, even though I gave prime opportunity for that. But yeah, one of them things wanted to go and look at his little animal cage, and then Rowan pretty much murdered everyone, including No Way Jose with the Iron Claw choke slam. Yeah. So now we come to the match one of two that was good on the night. Charlotte versus Asuka and Kairi Sane. Oh, oof. Good Lord Almighty. That was 2-on-1 handicap. I have been vocal on how I feel about handicap matches before. If they're done right, it's good, but it's all on how you book it, really, more than anything, because if you have the solo person beat the tag team, then that just makes the tag team look like shit, saying, oh, well, this one single person was able to beat two of us, so... But I'll get to the ending in a minute. There was a good beatdown right before the bell. One thing I didn't like was on, again, Jerry Lawler commentary. Obviously not a fan of Jerry Lawler commentary, but Lawler and Vic Joe playing up, oh, Controller can still compete, Controller still compete. No, she didn't have that look on her, like she may not be able to compete. She had that look of, motherfucker, you just took a cheap shot on me before the bell. Now I'm ready to whoop your ass for real. You know, just that. She had that kind of facial expression on her. Not that, oh, I'm not sure. Yeah, I can still do it. Ring the bell. She didn't have that kind. Nope. Now this really did have nice, good fight feel. Good in and out tags between Asuka and Kairi. Really dug it. Loved the double team. You know, had double teaming at the right times. Had Charlotte fighting back at the right times. Separating them. Trying to do like a good 2-on-1 fight. Not even a wrestling match, but fight. That match came to an end when Kairi, she did a blind tag on Asuka. Charlotte didn't notice it. She wound up doing... Charlotte popped in the figure 8 on Asuka. And Kairi went and did the insane elbow on Charlotte while doing the figure 8. 1, 2, 3. So your winners are Asuka, my future third ex-wife, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. Next up we got the Raiders going against local town jobbers. And, well, one thing, if you listen to Ryder and Hawkins' toy podcast, you'd appreciate the fact that they had that Ryder and Hawkins producer, Mark Sterling, was on there. You know, if you don't know which one that was, he was the gray-haired dude, but yeah. Raiders pretty much murdered them, and then after that they wound up doing... The one thing I took from this was they were yelling out, are you watching, are you watching? So hopefully it's going to lead to them getting bigger competition. So now we come to main event of the night. Match 2 of 2 that was good. Everything else aside from the handicap match and this was shit. It was fucking shit and it fucking sucked. And not only that, Samoa Joe was pretty much literally like Atlas carrying the commentary table on his shoulders tonight. So, trios match. Rey Mysterio, Humberto Carrilo, and Ricochet going up against Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Uncle Allen, having the Good Brothers and the Club Skeet in action. Humberto, he was first round for Team Punching Bags, but it was nice to see him in action. I know a lot of people are saying, oh God, sick of seeing Humberto. You know, but these are also the same people that say they need to establish new talent. They need to have new talent on TV. Well, how are you going to get new talent on TV unless you establish them? You can't establish the new talent without putting them out there. And it's not like you can have them do 1 or 2 good matches and then, boom, make them a star. No, you have to have them on TV on a regular, consistent basis. And if you're going to say, oh, well, it's just against this guy again and again and again and again and again, by all means, you're welcome to complain about it. But I want you to think, they're building them, they're establishing them. How else are you going to have a small to medium-sized guy get established on the wrestling program? You know, I mean, if they're like 7 foot and damn near 400, like Braun Strowman or Big Show, yeah, you can have them go out there, do squash matches, show assert dominance. That makes sense. But for the small to medium guys like that, the hell you expect? You know? Now, Humberto, he was in there for a good bit, got some nice solid action in at first, but he wound up working in the first round as a team punching bag, which I gotta give WWE credit for because, you go back and you look over the past few years, they kind of remade their own way of doing a trios tag match with having somebody being the team punching bag at first, and then somebody getting a hot tag, and then somebody else and then that person getting a hot tag winds up being made into a punching bag, and then the third person winds up getting a hot tag. But yeah, it went like that. Now, obviously, yeah, it was very cycled and you knew on how it was going to go. But, like I say all the time, with wrestling, it's storytelling. Yeah, obviously, you know on how the story's going to end. But don't worry about the ending, worry about everything that leads to the ending. So, a lot of good solid action, really dug it. Absolutely, I really dug it. You know, Ray and Ricochet, they got history with each other, working in trios in Lucha Underground. Humberto, he's getting that nice rub from Ray and Rick. So, yeah, the kid, you know, that kid, he can go. I can definitely see him getting the title or getting in a regular picture as time goes on. Ricochet wound up getting a second round hot tag, wound up working, cleaning up house, had nice solid one-on-one action with him and Styles. You know, that's of course not to be surprised. You know, them two had good history with each other beforehand. Now, match came to an end when Ricochet, he had Styles up on the top. He was getting ready to go and do what it looked like a Frankensteiner. But then Anderson came over, Ricochet came down, took him out, and then went to go back up, went to go do the Frankensteiner. Styles stopped him, and then boom, hit him with a Styles Clash from the top. 1, 2, 3. That was it. So, your winners are the Good Brothers. The Klubski got the win. And you look over this, the heels that won clean. The face, you know, I mean, honestly, you look over it. Erick Rowan, he won clean. No outside interference. You know? Drew McIntyre, again, clean. Asuka and Kairi, they didn't do the mist for the first time on TV. So, again, clean. Good Brothers, clean. So, yeah. Nice to see some things changing up and being a little different, but yeah, that is it for this week's show, folks. So, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes. Make sure you look for me on my Twitter at Tim Vicious. You also got a Facebook gimmick, Tim Ash. If you're gonna look for me on my Facebook gimmick, let me know you found me on there from here. Or my Twitter at Tim Vicious on the guy Creep John going. Big ups to two contributors of the show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. A little bit of wrestling, a little bit of MMA, a whole lot of attractive girls wearing a little bit of nothing. Make sure y'all check them out. They got 2020 DVD calendar, 2020 DVD calendars up. Whew. Oh, you know. Also, big ups to my executive producer, Ali Rewind Ben, who provided the music for this week's show. It's out there on iTunes, Spotify, and such. Details are down below. Also, you want one of these sweet Ali Rewind shirts, hit me up and I'll talk to the man for you, or look for him yourself. You got that Facebook gimmick, Hie Enriquez. Also, folks, do not forget to follow these cool-ass cats right here on the Twitter. Axel Mulligan, Kenny Keller, DSP_IV, Diabolica RA, Sergeant Curry Pants, Dazzy MWP, and my homeboy, my good brother Zeke, TSUNDERE_ZEE. And folks, like I always tell you, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck you.